and I have no doubt that jacked up Joe will probably return to the stage after a heavy dose of, caffeine, Red Bull, or whatever he took before the State of the Union. That was weird.
The challenge set forth by President Joe Biden to debate Donald Trump, which has now been accepted by Trump, has broken the brains of so many on the right wing. They now have to completely recalibrate. Wait a second. If Biden's demented and doesn't know what day it is, but he's challenging Trump, there must be something here that we're not understanding. Maybe this is all part of some way to trick Trump into getting into a debate moderated by left-wing bomb thrower Jake Tapper on CNN, or what's going on? It must be rigged in some way. Maybe the simplest explanation is the most accurate, which is Biden believes we should have debates and he feels equipped to debate Trump, so he challenged Trump. Now, we'll get to the details of the debates in a moment, but I do want to give you a little bit of a tour through some of the right-wing apoplexy of the last 24 hours related to this. Here is, for example, Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, claiming the upcoming debates are rigged. It's all rigged. Think about what's rigged. The election's already rigged. The stock market is rigged to make Joe Biden look good. The debates are rigged to make Joe Biden look good. Everything's rigged. Nothing is real.
Well, I think you're correct. But, you know, what we've always also called for and what Donald Trump has said is that he wants more debate. So he said, yes, I'll do this one in June. I'll do the one in September. I'll do the one in October. But let's do one in July. Let's do one in August. Let's do one every single month leading up to this election.
Right. The fact that Trump wants even more debates must mean that everything that Biden wants to do is rigged.
John, we need these two men on a stage. We need to be very clear about the direction we want this country to go. We need to hear from Donald Trump about his vision for the future of this country, how he will give this country back to the people, how he'll fix the mess Joe Biden has put us in. And Joe Biden has a lot of questions to answer. So we want to see more of them on a stage, not less. And you're right. It's rigged so heavily in Joe Biden's favor, but everything always is. You've got Hollywood against Donald Trump. You've got the music industry against Donald Trump, mainstream media. Despite that, and even the judicial system at this point, he is beating Joe Biden in every poll out there. It's amazing to see. So if Joe Biden shows up on June 27th and doesn't come up with an excuse like he has to wash his hair or something, I have full confidence that Donald Trump will outperform him.
Yeah, of course, that is very much not something that is a foregone conclusion, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But remember that it is all rigged unless we do well. If we do well, it's fine. Otherwise, it's rigged. It couldn't possibly be that you just lost an election. It couldn't possibly be that Trump's just guilty of what he's accused of. It couldn't possibly be that Biden just performs well in a debate. It has to have been rigged. Sean Hannity had quite an episode last night. And I mean the word episode in both ways, an episode of his show and sort of like a mental episode. We know, of course, that Sean Hannity has been attacking President Biden's mental acuity significantly leading up to today. And he is suggesting that Biden is, of course, going to be on some kind of drug. Stimulants will be a factor. This is a favorite of Republicans. Every time Biden shows up and just kind of like is fine, they go, oh, he was all hopped up. He was sped up on something.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the person you want to moderate. Biden's list of demands will also be in effect, and I have no doubt that jacked up Joe will probably return to the stage after a heavy dose of, caffeine, Red Bull, or whatever he took before the State of the Union. That was weird. Don't expect a...
That was weird. So as we've talked about before with mental health professionals, having caffeine before a big speech, it's not exactly cheating, if you know what I mean. And by the way, having a cup of coffee before a speech or a debate isn't going to hide the serious dementia that these people claim Joe Biden is suffering from. Here's a really weird moment from Hannity's episode where he seems to suggest that Biden agreed to debate Trump in order to avoid debating Trump under circumstances that I guess would be worse for him or something like that. These little conspiracy theories, you really have to focus in order to follow them.
You know, even announce this thing, they probably were all discussing it, knowing that, if we just agree, he'll have to do what we say. It's going to be Joe's way or the highway. What he's really trying to do here is ultimately maybe he's really cowering away from any real debate. Either take my chosen liberal network with my chosen moderator with all my rules, or I'm not going to debate. Secretly hoping that Donald Trump insists on basic fairness so they can duck and dodge and cower and hide and say, see, we tried to debate. Let's see, the American people, they deserve a fair debate.
Yeah. So I guess what Hannity is saying is Biden's idea to get out of debating is to try to set up debates that will be unfair so that Trump will come in with a bunch of demands which won't be acceded to, and therefore the debate won't happen or something like that. Interesting. Might be easier just not to talk about debates because both of the candidates at different times have said, I don't know whether we're going to debate. But Hannity's got a more complicated explanation. Hannity says there should be no teleprompters. I've never seen teleprompters during a debate, but Hannity feels like it's a relevant thing to mention.
Go. And while we're at it, there should be no notes, no teleprompters, Joe. In other words, Joe, you don't get giant cheat sheets telling you where to go.
Okay. So, of course, there have never been teleprompters at debates that I'm aware of. And in terms of notes, at just about any debate, the participants are, I'm not even talking just presidential here, just in debates in general, you're usually given a pad of paper and a pen, and you can write whatever you want on it. Oftentimes it's used as your opponent is speaking, and maybe they make 3 points you want to rebut. You make those three, you write those 3 points down, or it's called notes, folks. You make your own notes. To say that that is some form of cheating, to give both candidates a pen and a piece of paper, seems strange. And then Hannity also has a bunch of specific demands. He wants moderator mics to be muted after questions. He doesn't want networks to be allowed to put things on the screen. Hannity is almost like becoming the producer of these debates.
I would add that moderators' mics, they need to be muted also after a question. Why? Because it's obvious the liberal media, they'd love to be 2-on-1 versus Donald Trump. Yep. No, that can't happen. Nor should networks be allowed to put anything on the screen but the names of the candidates, because they might try to hurt Donald Trump that way.
Yeah, what Hannity is referring to is he doesn't want any live fact checking up on the screen. So, for example, if Trump does one of his verbal diarrhea ink blots where he tells 6 lies in 15 seconds, about the stock market and about his crowd size and about what the law says about X, Y, or Z. What Hannity doesn't want to see happen is something pop up and fact check Trump's lies in real time. And Biden's, fact check them both. I have no problem with it. And lastly, here's Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham says all Trump has to do to win these debates is stay calm and Biden will seem crazy.
So all Donald Trump has to do is stay calm and stay calm during the entire debate and let Biden rant and rave because Scranton Joe's looking and sounding meaner and more petty by the day. And then Trump, by comparison, he easily appears presidential, cool, confident, and yeah, possessing a lot of common sense.
There you go. So that's Laura Ingraham's advice. Just stay calm and then let Biden, give Biden enough rope to hang himself with, essentially is what she's saying. So that's the right-wing view. Now what I want to talk about is how could these debates backfire for Trump, but for either candidate?